The Georgia Bulldogs in 2024 played potentially the most difficult schedule that's ever been given in the history of college football. And they went 10-2 and they won the SEC championship game. Georgia had probably the least talented, the most underperforming team, to put it nicely, that Kirby Smart has had since 2016. Georgia literally, this sounds like something I'm just coming up with off the top of my head. Georgia led the entire nation, all of FBS football. They led the nation, worst in the entire country in drop passes. Carson Beck had a less than stellar year, did not live up to the reputation that was being given him by people like me all throughout the year. Had a major interception / turnover problem. Georgia gave up an insane amount of sacks. The offensive line underperformed in a big way. Georgia could not run the ball like Georgia is accustomed to running the ball. Georgia has always been known for a team that no matter what, Georgia, when it's 3rd and 2, when it's 3rd and 3, when it's 4th and 1, they're going to be able to get those tough yards with a big physical offensive line and a stable full of running backs. Georgia did not have a great rushing game last season and also had an insanely larger number of fumbles that they're used to having. We had a freshman running back, Nate Frazier, who is going to be excellent, but he was very young, inexperienced, and had a fumble problem. Georgia's defensive secondary underperformed majorly last year. Gave up a lot of yards through the air. Georgia's defensive line last year, again, was not up to the standard that Georgia fans and Kirby Smart has gotten used to since 2016, 2017. Underperformed at almost every single position. Defensive line, secondary, quarterback, running backs, offensive line. Led the nation in drop passes. And played the most difficult schedule that's potentially ever been given a college football team. And with that, they managed to go 10-2 in the regular season. Go on to beat Texas twice to win the SEC championship game. And they earned a first round bye in the playoffs, in which they went on to lose to Notre Dame. But with all that being said, all the underperforming, all the mistakes, all the issues, Kirby Smart and that staff still, people want to rag on Mike Bobo and people want to rag on Kirby Smart. I'm telling you, when you think that Mike Bobo is the issue, you are disagreeing with guys like Kirby Smart. Even guys like Nick Saban have defended Mike Bobo. For lack of better terms, people don't know what they're talking about. All you hear from a lot of fans is, well, Mike Bobo runs too many screenplays. You hear the conversations. You talk with people. What do they say? Every time we line up and run a play, it seems like Mike Bobo always wants to run this play where there's a wide receiver split out wide and he takes 2 steps backwards. Why are we going backwards? That's what people say. Why are we going backwards? And they throw the ball out and they tackle us for a 2-yard loss. I'm tired of him running that same screen play over and over and over again. When the play in general is run off of so many different formations, it will make your head spin. And that there is a great purpose behind those screenplays. It's called, they're spreading out the defensive ends, the edge rushers, and the outside linebackers, and keeping them true. We continue to run plays up the middle and stuff like that, and what they do is the defense creeps in on you. And every now and then you throw the ball out there like that on the edges, and you do that to force the defense to have to spread themselves out. Sometimes the intention of running that play is not to gain a first down. Sometimes the intentions of that play is to spread the defense out so you can manage to get a first down on the next couple of plays. It's a setup play. And not only that, over half the times they run it, go back and watch some of these games from last year. Over half the times they run it, a lot of times it's an easy 3 or 4 yards. I see the times when it's a tackle at the line of scrimmage, but I see plenty of times too when it's gains 3, 4, and 5 yards, and we're set up in a 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. I'll give you a perfect example. I was talking with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and they said, I wish we would be more like Steve Sarkisian at Texas and run that offense to where we'd be more wide open. I wish we'd throw the ball more. I wish we would have more complex route schemes like Steve Sarkisian does at Texas. I watch a guy named Brooks Austin, okay? He's not a Georgia homer. He covers Georgia content, but he covers the entire nation. He's known as the film guy. He breaks down film. He truly goes back and watches the game film. He watches people who are being recruited out of high school. He watches their tape and breaks them down. And this man, you know, he doesn't know ball like Kirby Smart or Nick Saban, you know, or Glenn Schumann or Dan Lanning or Ryan Day, you know, or Dabo Swinney. He doesn't know ball to that extent, but he knows ball, okay? And he went down and broke down the Texas film from the last 2 or 3 seasons. And all these people that are running around saying, I wish we'd quit running so many screen plays. I wish we'd play more like Texas. The Texas Longhorns lead the nation in amount of screen plays that they run. Texas runs more screen. Steve Sarkisian runs more screen plays than Bobo. But at any rate, I'm out here on my daily walk, and I just got a notification that said my phone is too hot, that it's about to cut off. It's hot outside. What I'm trying to say is, Georgia was extremely underperforming last year. Like we talked about, couldn't run the ball, couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass, had an interception problem, offensive line underperforming, led the nation in drop passes. By the way, when you lead the nation in drop passes, what do you expect Mike Bobo to do? Every time he throws the ball down the field, the receiver...
Total distance 1 mile. Total time 18 minutes and 56 seconds.
I don't know if you can hear my
pace 18 minutes 55 seconds per mile.
Telling me I'm up to a mile. Had to pause for a minute. What do you expect him to do whenever he throws when they do throw the ball down the field, and it should have been a 35-yard completion, and the ball goes in and out of the receiver's hands? You know, Bobo can't call the play, run down and snap the ball, block for the offensive line, throw for the quarterback, and catch the pass. You know, at some point, it's on the players to execute. Let's pause here in the shade for a minute. I'm simply saying, look at all the underperformance that Georgia had last year, and they still managed to win the SEC championship. Like, Alabama didn't win the SEC championship. LSU did not do it. Florida could not do it. Tennessee could not do it. Ole Miss could not do it. Texas could not do it. All this hype about, I wish Georgia could play more like Texas. I wish we could have an offense more like Steve Sarkisian. What happened the last time Georgia played Texas? And what happened the time before that? There's a lot of negativity going on right now around Georgia and around Gunnar Stockton, and guys like Paul Feinbaum are out here saying, you know, oh, we'll have, you know, there's a lot of teams out here that has first-year quarterbacks that we don't know a lot about, such as Alabama, such as Texas with Arch Manning, Gunnar Stockton with Georgia. You know, a lot of teams. Tennessee just had to replace their quarterback, but Paul Feinbaum gives credit to Texas and says, oh yeah, they're going to be great. You know, they're going to be awesome. Arch Manning is going to be great for Texas, and he hasn't seen Arch perform, but he is automatically, you know, he's giving them the benefit of the doubt. When he talks about Georgia, he says, well, you know, I think they're going to underperform at quarterback. You know, I think Gunnar is a game manager, and Gunnar is not going to be able to do this. And guys, I'm here to remind you, I'm not saying that Gunnar Stockton is going to come in here and be Matt Stafford. I'm not saying that. But Gunnar Stockton broke the Georgia high school football record set by Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was the former record holder of most yards in a career and most touchdown passes, and Gunnar broke not one, but both of those records. Gunner's not going to come in here and be Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or Tom Brady, but Gunner is not a slouch, and Gunner is a baller, and I think we've seen in the SEC championship game when that team rallied around him. And give credit to Mike Bobo for having the backup quarterback so ready that we came and had to take the lead from Texas in the SEC championship game to go on and win that game. Now, he didn't perform that great after. He didn't perform that great in against Notre Dame. But give him a full offseason and give Mike Bobo and that staff a full offseason of gearing the team and the offense around Gunner Stockton, and let's see what happens. I'm telling you, there's a lot of doubt around Georgia right now. And when I say doubt, I mean up to the Georgia standard of doubt. Like there's guys like Josh Pate who are putting Georgia at number 11. Guys like Joel Klatt who are putting Georgia at number 6 and 7 and 8. You know, when I say a level of doubt, I don't mean Georgia's going to be ranked 22nd and picked to probably lose 4 games. I mean that Georgia's going to be ranked possibly outside of the top 5. And now we know from previous years that Kirby has always done very well when his team is being doubted. And when you take a team like the Georgia Bulldogs, who is either the most or the second most talented team in the country, year in and year out, and you tell them, hey, that Texas team that you beat by double digits in their stadium, in their home last year, when you went in there and absolutely wrecked them, and then had to play them again in the SEC championship game and had to beat them with a backup quarterback to do it, and you still did it, they got that team ranked number 1. And they got y'all ranked number 6. I'm telling you, it's a dangerous, dangerous situation. I'm going to continue walking here because I'm about done and wrapped up. Alabama is coming in week 5, I believe. Bama and Georgia both have a bye week before they play each other. Bama is coming, and I got to continue walking because I was on my daily walk today. I should have waited till I got back home to make this video, but I can't. They both got a bye week. Bama's coming in week 5. Okay, I went back. Go back and go to YouTube and type in Georgia versus Tennessee 2024 full game. Go back and find the best version and watch the entire game and watch everything. Don't fast forward to the kickoff. Watch the beginning of that game. Georgia had Tennessee there at night. And I know everybody has a great home atmosphere and this and that. Go back and watch the pregame festivities. And when they had the stadium blackened and Georgia was coming out of that hole with the smoke and the banner and the cheerleaders and the band and the fireworks, and everybody had a blackout going on. And I'm telling you, it will give you chills how well that university made an intimidating environment for the opponent to come and play in. And you literally hear Josh Heupel's pregame interview, the Tennessee head coach, and you can physically see in his face that he is rattled. The head coach. I mean, go back and watch it. The reporter asked him a clear question, and you can tell he can't even get his thoughts out. And he's like, it's great environment. Let's go play football. And it's intimidating to go and play on the road. And if you think for 1 minute, and now this doesn't mean anything when they kick the ball off, but home field advantage is a big deal. Kirby's played Alabama 8 times since he's become the head coach in 2016. He's gotten to play them 0 times in Athens. That entire university is going to put together they are going to make that place an absolute terror to come in and try to play in. And they're going to put Texas at number 1, and they're going to put Georgia at number 5, 6, 7. And they're going to say, you got to prove it. And I'm telling you, that's a dangerous spot to be in for whoever's going to be playing Georgia this year. I don't know. It seems like we've heard this same song and dance over and over again. You know, what did we just go through with Stetson Bennett? You know, they were saying, Georgia will never win a national championship with Stetson Bennett. Okay? Two national championships later and 2 SEC championships later. Georgia will never win a national championship under Mike Bobo. He runs too many screenplays. Georgia sucked last year. That Mike Bobo couldn't get anything going. All they did was win the SEC championship game.